Hey guys, I'm sitting down with Coach Kyle today. Yesterday we dropped the news of us going to a new space here in the next couple months. Overall reaction was awesome. Glad that you guys are excited, or at least the feedback that we got, because we're really stoked. And so the post was pretty vague. It was just really an announcement of more than anything, just kind of tipping the first domino. But today we're going to try to paint a picture of what this space is going to look like, some of the plans that we've got for it, and our vision for this space here in the next few months. Without being able to get in there, which is tough. But over the next couple months, as construction gets wrapped up and these things start to move, we'll be able to get into the space and give you guys an actual look at the spot. But we're going to talk about some things that we're looking forward to, some pros of the new space, and the decision that we made to make this move. But yesterday I posted about the size of it, and that's probably going to be the biggest thing and the biggest factor that played into us moving, is just us wanting to expand and have more space to do more things, or more space just for the things that we're currently doing for the people that we got. But it is definitely more, it's like when you walk in or look at the building, it's definitely more of a rectangle shape, and so it's a lot longer. If you're familiar with our current space, we've got this square cutout. It's roughly 2,500 square feet. We've almost got two of these spaces attached to each other. And then there's a lobby area actually that's going to be the farthest kind of piece of this puzzle, but it's the closest to the street. So when you walk in, you've got this lobby area where we'll have retail, where the showers, we will have showers and restrooms in there as well, just like we have set up currently, 2 private showers, 2 private bathrooms. We'll have an office area for consultations and some of our weigh-ins and measurements, nutrition sit-downs, things like that. And then we have a door leading into our 2 big rooms. And so our first room is going to be our personal training dedicated area, because they are devised. So that way we can just focus solely on that one service in that room. We'll outfit that room with a lot of the same things that we currently have, but we do have some new pieces coming in there, which we'll talk about. And then if you walk to the back of that room, you'll see another door. That door is going to lead you into actually a bit bigger room, that's still that same rectangle style, and that will be our group dedicated room. Ceiling height, we'll talk specifics. So ceiling height's about 14 feet. If you're familiar with our space now, we've got more of this, what's that word?
Triangle?
Sure, arch, or this, there's a word for it.
Steeple. No.
Anyways, it starts at 10, it elevates to about 15 or 16, and then drops back down to 10. This is just a flat 14-foot ceiling. And so we're gonna have a lot of the same like paint job. We've got 2 accent walls that'll be black. We're gonna try to go for the same theme. We're gonna get a mural in there, and some other hang-ups and posters and graphics and stuff like that. So the space is gonna look sweet. Prior to us getting in there, it was a dent repair shop. So it was an outfit for an automotive setup. So they've got 5 bay doors, which is another perk, kind of getting ahead, but we'll be able to throw those things up. 5 big garage doors, so nicer times of the year. We'll have a lot more sunlight and air flow through there, which will be fun. But what was I getting at there? Oh, so yeah, so it was an automotive spot. So I mean, a bit dirtier. It could have been. A couple times we toured through it. It was like it's not like the retail style that we've got currently. But that's our goal, is to get in there when construction's done, clean this place up, make it look just as good, if not better, than what we're working with now. And then, yeah, anything else you can think of on the size?
No, not really. Mostly that separation between our services, because as most of you guys know, that we run into PT and group kind of meshing together in the current space that we have. So that's one thing that me, as one of the coaches on the private side, as well as the group side, is really, really excited about, having a dedicated space for our both groups. So that PT is going to have its own space, that group's going to have its own space, and we're not going to have the headache of running into each other, having to share equipment, things of that nature. So that's going to be really, really exciting. The group is going to get the bigger size room, which is going to be great. That way we can kind of hopefully increase our class sizes a little bit, but still providing that exact same service, that exact same high quality service.
I think that's a good point. So with the group, the idea and kind of the vision for that is, like, we've always kept it a little bit smaller size, A, because of facility, but B, more importantly, we want to have like a high level coaching service where we have a set of eyes on a smaller group and we just have more instruction. The goal is to keep that. That'll always kind of be the main thing, but I think, or I know we've got the capacity to at least increase that number a little bit. I think people signing up and wanting to be in that group setting want to be in a group setting. So our first goal for that would be to get to a point where we are averaging 8 to 10 people per class versus some class we have sporadic times where it's a couple people in class. Some classes are pretty consistently at that metric already. But the schedule is going to remain the same. So you're not going to lose your class times. Yes, we are in a new spot, but memberships will stay the same. We're not going to change everything just right off the bat. Our goal is to grow that program, to add more class times, and just continue to improve and give you more flexibility within that program. And then within the space itself, since we're on group right now, really we're going to be, so we've got a big equipment order coming in, and so we'll kind of store it in the month of January as things wrap up, and then we'll start to outfit where we can, when we can. And then our goal is, so there's no just lag time between us closing Magnolia and opening White Settlement, is that we'll have all that equipment laid out, and then we'll kind of break down the space that we're currently in. This might require us to shut down for a Saturday, maybe even a Friday, but it's a 3-day turnover to where we get a big group of people helping the coaches out, take equipment down to moving trucks, get those moving trucks to the new space, unload, build out. Long weekend, but a quick weekend, so that way we can hit workouts again, start Monday morning that next week. But in the group side, equipment-wise, you can expect a lot of the same things. We'll have a couple updated pieces, but we'll still have our big rig in there, all our machines and free weights and things like that. There might be a couple new pieces that you see, but we just want to kind of get in there and get a feel for the space and make sure we've got more open, just floor space than anything before we start adding more to that. On the personal training side, because it is a one-on-one setting, we are going to be adding a couple pieces just because we don't have to order 6 to 8 of them at a time. So things like GHDs, we're going to have sleds with some turf in there. We're going to start with our squat racks and eventually move to some power racks. But kind of the same idea. We want to get a feel for it, test out a couple new things, and then see what we'll utilize the most or need the most in those spaces. But yeah, Kyle hitting on just the flexibility and availability to run our programs without having to be as efficient as we've been with doing both services in this small space.
Yeah.
So we already hit on it. Showers, bathrooms. We basically replicated what we've got here. I took pictures, got the plans, moved that to our our contractor, and said this is exactly how we want to build it out. So same setup there. The lobby retail area, I kind of talked about that too. Just having a little bit cleaner setup to where it's this is more so for new people. When you walk into the gym, you're not just immediately thrown into a class setting where the music is loud. We might be lifting weights. There's just no barrier to entry between you walking off the street and into the gym. Now we'll have that lobby set up to where, like most businesses, you'll at least have this kind of welcoming environment, and then you can kind of get a visual because we have a big window looking into the PT area, which I'm more excited about that than anything. And then the retail setup will be cool because we'll have some space to actually build out stuff for our merchandise, plans for some supplement lines, and then some bigger refrigerators for doing a lot more of the RTDs, or the ready to drinks. So pre-workout, post-workout, electrolytes, stuff like that. And then, yeah, if you want to talk about the next couple.
Yeah. So we hit on the bay doors and stuff like that, which is really cool. And that just leads into the parking lot. So there are 2 other businesses, kind of like we have here on Magnolia, but we are going to have a designated parking lot instead of street parking. And if you're familiar with White Settlement Road, they have a small sub street that's a little bit more of a private drive. We also have that space as well for parking, as you can consider, I guess, street parking. But that's going to be really nice. We're all on one floor, which is really nice, so we don't have to worry about neighbors below us, so we can make as much noise as we want. And you don't have to walk up and down stairs before or after a nice conditioning or a leg day, which will be really cool, which gives us just more parking for you guys, more parking for us, and the ability, when the nice weather comes, to throw up those bay doors and have that airflow and the sunshine and things of that nature. And 2 is we have excuse my language, but we got a kick-ass view of downtown from our spot. So we open up those bay doors and you got a really, really good view of downtown. Angelo's Barbecues is across the street, so if you come in for lunch and you want to go grab a rack of ribs and maybe a schooner, it's right across the street, as well as University and 7th is right there, which is really nice.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Popular area. And I think talking specific, so the address is 2704 White Settlement. It's set up in the complex that we're in is like this horseshoe style that surrounds the parking lot that we'll have. And so I think we'll have anywhere from like 10 to 20 spots at a time, which is great for those high traffic times because the other businesses, we have one that's a jiu-jitsu place. They're across the wing from us, and I think their offerings now, they're more of like an afternoon, evening type. And then we have a thrift store or like a vintage clothing or vintage shop that kind of connects the two spaces, the jiu-jitsu and us. And so anyway, so we will have plenty of parking. It being on the first floor is awesome, unique to us. We made it work on the second. So, and then yeah, just a high traffic area. So easy to get to relatively, but there's a lot of businesses over there. So options for food and collaborating and doing things with other, because there's a couple of gyms over there as well. So hopefully we can partner up and do some fun stuff with them too.
There's one thing I kind of want to hit on too is with this is like as we get more and more or closer and closer to that moving day and announcing like the exact date that we're moving in, like we want you guys to be excited because we're super pumped about this. We've always kind of had a dream of having more space, especially as we've grown bigger and bigger and bigger. And it is all because of y'all that we are able to do this. And we don't overlook that by any means. But you can still expect the exact same programming from the exact same coaches with the exact same schedule. So really, like, we're just taking ourselves and we're upgrading the facility, but the services and that quality of service is going to stay the same, if not elevate from that because of this new space and what we have. And hopefully, you know, in the future, new coaches come on board and new members and all that stuff, so where we can offer more programs or more times. But yeah, we're super stoked about this. It's been like 5 years in the making.